Well, Rachel Dolezal joins me now live from New York. Rachel, thank you for joining us. Of course, I vividly remember the story. I do remember it. We all do. And it was fascinating, though, to read the book because, you know, to find out what was going on behind the headlines and that the fact that when you were a little girl, when you were tiny, you used to actually cover yourself in mud to change the colour of your skin. It went right back to when you were a kid. So why do you think you identified so closely with the black community?
Well, I really just encountered blackness kind of for the first time, just as a response from within myself, as black is beautiful, black is inspirational. I know that my identity still, for many, is somewhat unorthodox or perhaps unique, but you know, I'm kind of becoming okay with, to a certain extent, a level of support and rejection that's kind of been going on for the last couple of years since my biological heritage and how I was born. That's really why I wrote the book, and I hope that it does a lot of good work to advance the conversation about race and identity.
So really interesting, Rachel, because the terminology is interesting, because you describe it as trans black, almost in the way that people are, as you say, transsexual, and you sort of identify in a sense with someone like Caitlyn Jenner, for example. And I'm interested in the term trans black. What does that actually mean for you?
Yeah, so there was a piece that Melissa Harris Perry put out in 2015, and she said, you know, maybe Rachel is black, and maybe there's cis black and trans black, and maybe we need to expand our vocabulary. And I think that, you know, trans black does suggest born under a different category, but having an authentic identity under a, you know, black category. So for sure, you know, perhaps that's a useful term. I liked it, and I think it's probably a little bit more descriptive than transracial, because transracial sounds kind of neutral somehow. And with the race divide in America, there's just a sharp line, a very sharp political line between black and white. And I'm not neutral on political issues and social issues and cultural issues. So you know, I find myself on the black side of all of those issues, and trans black does represent, as a term, who I am.
But couldn't you have done the work that you do as a white woman, as what people would kind of, you know, because we all want to put people and classify them, but as a white woman, could you not have done the work that you did? You know, you were doing a lot of work for the black community, you know, trying to raise awareness and all of that. And it's just fascinating that you felt you had to, and you do, clearly, you identify yourself as a black woman. That's how you feel, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't feel like I had to somehow identify in order to do the work that I did. I just really embraced fully who I am. It's been a long journey, for sure.
Do you understand, though, because you have had an awful lot of abuse. I don't know how you've managed to cope with it, but you've had abuse from both sides. You know, you've had white people saying, what are you doing? You're living a lie. You know, and you've had black people giving you abuse as well. That must be terribly difficult for you to live with that. Not just for you, but for your 3 boys as well. Very, very hard.
Yeah, and there's also been a lot of love and support, though, too. I've kind of, you know, I think that people really want to talk about race, and somehow my story really set off a lot of both positive and negative reactions, and my life is somehow a perfect metaphor for the idea of race being a social construct, and people want to talk about that. But yes, life has been hard since I've been stigmatized socially and in some sense rejected by many different demographic groups.
No, you have. I mean, you really have lost everything. And as you say, and you say it in the book as well, to truly understand someone, you need to hear her whole story. And this is mine. Rachel, I wish I could talk to you loads more. I know we're going to get a massive reaction to this, and I would love to invite you back if you were able to do that. The book is out now. It's called In Full Colour, Finding My Place in a Black and White World. It raises all sorts of really interesting topics for debate. Thank you for joining us this morning from New York. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.